Welcome to Game 3 of the night. Of course, nosfa versus the Wazzle Dazzle himself. Waz, it looks like really he's actually picked himself up on a bit of an upward trajectory towards the end of the season.
Totally agree. I think he's been stepping up his gameplay quite a lot, even versus the best in the business, the likes of Rafran Dahang. He's been looking like a pretty decent player, and it's very easy for those players to make anybody look mediocre. So I do not think that this is a clear-cut game at all, but if you showed me this in week 1 or 2, I would have thought, yeah, nosfa's got this pretty comfortably. Now, I genuinely don't really know.
I think
I'll pretend to.
Yeah? It's one where you don't really have that much of a clear-cut look, because nosfa was always, for me, a bit of a star child, and I kind of put him in the limelight in every situation I could, where I'd be like, okay, you know what, I do favour nosfa, and I feel like he was going to take it in every series I saw him in, but I don't know, he kind of got stuck in a bit of elo hell with the rankings.
Yeah, no, totally. And he lost the kind of I don't know, I just used the word, the star kind of plays that he used to make. He wasn't really doing it again. He used to be the most explosive guy. I say it as if it was like long in the past. It's very, very recent. But for the first minute or 2 minutes of a game, he would do things that you only just realize upon witnessing it that is even possible in Quake. So if we can get some of that back from him, that would be amazing. The thing is, he's going versus somebody else who has elements of nosfa within him. Someone who's high movement, high explosive playstyle, who's also got super strong mechanics in terms of aim. This actually could be a really explosive series if both players are, feeling up to it and feeling like they wanna go balls out.
Well, hopefully we will get a bit of that, That's always what you want to see. That's another one for the fridge magnets.
At least you're saying fridge magnets now.
Well, clearly I've got to specify it, or else you're just confused about magnets.
We're about facts here, okay, in the QPL.
And hard-hitting journalism.
Yes. And we're talking about Waz next, right?
We are.
Okay, yeah. Waz, name begins with W, ends in Has. He is extraordinarily good at this game. Has what's my favourite movement around. He's innovated the Waz jump on Blood Run. However, it's not transferring yet to Quake Champion. We're still working on that at the moment. It's in the works, okay? It's being innovated again.
I felt quite proud when you said that then. It felt like something that I'd say. Begins with W and ends with Has. Amazing.
Was that like a good moment for you?
It was. I feel like I'm starting to rub off on you.
Hopefully not too much.
No. Waz has been looking sick, man. Like, honestly, he's been looking better and better every time we see him, which is great because he is a player that has so much skill inside him. And to actually see that now coming out and getting a lot more limelight, it's incredible, right?
Yeah, I just wonder kind of how close to the top in the rankings can he get himself by the end of week 10. I mean, I really want to start theory crafting. How's the bracket going to look? Because from each seeding where everyone's meant to go, but you also know that it's still week 9 and we don't actually know where everyone's meant to go. So I'm trying to think about it, and I just can't. I kind of want to wait for the surprise to hit me in the face, although I know that the players are already thinking about that themselves, like where can they plan to be? What kind of players can they emotionally prepare for? And I wonder if Waz gets a good bracket. He's actually someone who could go surprisingly deep to through Luca. I could see him certainly top 8.
All right. Well,
if the conditions align.
That's the thing, right? Everything would have to go their way for that. But let's get into the veto this time around and see exactly where everyone is going to be for our third game of the night here.
Okay, let's take a look at this one. So nosfa's map first, it is Awoken. We've got Doom versus Ranger. So Doom is a pick on this map I expect far more in sort of QPL standards, but we saw Wenger doing some of the most disgusting things I've ever seen, and like on par with what Saigon just did to Civ with Scalebearer with Ranger on Awoken. I mean, this stuff was absolutely phenomenal. Going to be an interesting one on Molten Falls, seeing the Strog come out. Waz is someone who's going to be able to make great use with that champion. Visor, I think, is a very safe pick, but there's some interesting aspects of this. If Waz gets an early lead, how much is nosfa going to be able to chase that? And then I think we're just going for a mental map 3 with Anarchy versus a team. I didn't even look at that actually until now. That could be totally bananas.
Yeah, that is actually going to be, I'd say, classic nosfa as well. That's one where I feel like he is going to be swinging into action. Look, he can really punish.
I don't really know what he's like with Athena. I think
No?
his style can suit it.
Yeah,
Like,
but
you're
that's why I
totally
feel like
right.
it's going to play into his hand.
But I don't know how it's going to play out. I may have seen him play Athena. I feel like we've seen him do it once, and that's about it on that map. And I don't know if I was impressed enough, but I think he might have done it versus someone like Rafa. And, you know, nothing looks great versus Rafa a lot of the time. So, fair enough.
He is like the human dampening field, though, that just stops any other type of power.
Yeah. So anyone who comes through is like, oh, upset. It's not a very good power, is it? Basically, Rafa, you make people miserable.
Well, he kind of does, though, when he's smashing them on the server.
That is true. I mean, you'd be happy. If that power is just specifically for Quake, that's fine.
Yeah.
Anything else, it just gets a bit crap.
People just stop hanging out with you.
It's like, this is no good for me. This isn't helping me.
He just keeps beating me on the game. I can't. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah. Well, hopefully getting derailed now. Hopefully nosfa can just kind of invoke some of that power specifically for the game.
No, I actually do think that's going to be a good pick for him. I feel like it's one of those where it will complement his style of play anyway, where he does basically just go for wide swings and super ridiculous faces, which is literally like 90% of the way he approaches the game. But he has the aim and the game sense to back it up. So giving him a champ that works that way, I reckon works.
I want to hype whaz, though, on that map too, because I think with Anarchy, if we can see some in-control plays, I'm expecting to have super explosive movement around the map, and I'm talking like double rocket jumps to close the gap, because you're going to need to be fast against any one champion. You need to be really fast versus Athena to catch up with her.
Alright, well, just quickly then, whilst we're getting into it. I'm going nosfa, you going whaz?
No, I'm going nosfa.
You going nosfa as well?
Sorry, mate, I'm not balancing it out with you here.
No, I didn't know. I thought it seemed like you had a lot of faith in whaz.
I do have faith, but I'm narrowly in favour of nosfa. I think it's going to be a close 2-1. But you know what? I've been wrong just about every time today. Hi, guys. I'm just getting ready to be wrong again.
I reckon nosfa does take it. Ooh, that's one way to start it off.
And it is nosfa's Ranger on this map. I don't even think about that enough. I mean, I was just thinking about what Venga was doing with Ranger. nosfa with Ranger on this map, I think, is just some of the spiciest stuff that I ever see. His algae's looking great. The rocket hasn't connected. Trying desperately to get a rail off. But it's going to have to sink back a little bit. And I love it when Ranger players are happy to invest small amounts of health to get fast movement. We don't see it enough, actually. That late switch over to the LG, it might work, but he runs out of lightning gun at the wrong time. It's a 1-for-1, and I think Whaz can count his lucky stars there that he's alive. It would have been like 1 HP for a player either way if the LG was still there.
Well, we're straight back into it, and that's not ideal at all. whaz, completely starved. He couldn't go for any pickups. There was no even smalls around to try and give him at least a bit more health to play with. nosfa as well looks for the backdoor frag, already finds it as he gets himself a quick follow-up, and that is now a 3-1 scoreline, Zoo.
Yeah, the play from whaz over at heavy, that's the type of play you make when you don't expect your opponent to attack at a major item. And when a player's not attacking it at a major item, there's usually a big misplay. And nosfa's at that level where he's going to be present. So, note to whaz, don't do that again. We've got the Berserk going out, it works out. Rocket's going to send him into the... What the hell is going on at the moment? There's the rail. Thank you for returning to sanity for a second. nosfa now 4-1 up.
This has already been a bit of a bizarre adventure. But nosfa looking to get even more going for himself here. The rocket! Oh, it connects. That is absolutely sublime. The follow-up tag with the rail as well. whaz, lucky to even be alive at this point. And now he isn't going to be breathing anymore.
So this is about the time that nosfa's superpowers tend to run out, like sort of between the 2 and 3 minute mark. He still managed to get himself a nice aerial into the LG. I wonder how long can he keep this up. If he can keep this going to like 5-6 minutes, it's going to be incredibly impressive. And it's going to give nosfa a lead, which whaz probably won't be able to come back from. We need to see whaz come into his own pretty much about now.
Ooh, well, that's not really him coming into his own, more so than he's just going to paint the walls red. But nosfa dealing with him quite nicely there, as he starts to expand out once again as well. Bear in mind, this is 7 frags in 3 minutes soon.
Yeah, it's been a lot. nosfa, though, putting himself in a slightly vulnerable position. Even if whaz is fairly low, it's hard to get a clear angle on him. Oh, he's got heavy and picks him off through the window. Now, whaz should have dropped down. I mean, even going over towards the corner to get to the fire mega, he had to be pretty patient in that case and wait for nosfa to make the next move. Doing some great damage from nosfa. I mean, he's still landing his shots. His power's continuing into the following minutes. And with Heavy coming up next, does he want to press forward? Is he going to risk it? whaz gets himself onto the item. nosfa, though, even though he's not picking it up, he's the one dealing most of the damage.
He's hardly missing any LG shots. Like, that trace was pretty much 100% accurate basically the entire time.
It's super, super solid aim from nosfa. Maybe it doesn't even seem enough. He's shaking his mouse. I want more.
He's trying to stay warmed up, and he's definitely looking on fire. This raging inferno of a human being blazing his way through here versus whaz. And the drop down with the rail. Oh, he's trying to pummel him. I don't think he's going to get a chance.
He just needed the one punch, but the LG was spot on from nosfa. That was pretty sick, actually. And it was like this sort of forever Superman as well. He's kind of just... It makes more sense with CS.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Looking like Princess Layla, just flying through the sky.
Stopwatch.
Wait, really?
Yeah, what, you not seen that? Did you not see the latest Star Wars movie?
Oh, I haven't seen the latest one, no.
Oh, it's alright, don't bother. Oh!
You won't make friends with Hell. No, Hell from Maestro. He's the biggest Star Wars fan out there.
Oh, I love Star Wars. It's not a very good movie.
I'm still trying to catch up on some of them. I'm an expert of season 4 to 6. Season? Episode 4 to 6. Shut up.
You know the one when they're on the Enterprise? nosfa's just living it. This man's absolutely just living his movie right now. It's 13-1. He's still landing rails, and he's looking for even more. He is bloodthirsty.
And he's got insane amounts of control. Oh, hello. He does this little dodge back, and it's like, oh, and that's honestly so annoying for whaz to miss. He's not even looking, and he even misses the rail. Oh, so much emotion in just one rail. Who'd have thunk it? That was everything missed. But he's still got control, so it's okay. Ooh. And he's hitting a rail shot. Oh my god. And that was direct. Doesn't matter if you've got the lights or whatever there. You're in great pain. On the punch!
Oh,
he needs a
no!
couple of... Oh. So I'm not going to let you punch me. I'm going to take myself down with you.
Oh, dude.
I'm very surprised at the scoreline, though. I was genuinely thinking this would be very close. But this just feels like the nosfa that we were expecting earlier in the season. And now I'm glad that I can start to expect it again.
Honestly, though, I don't know if it left that much. I feel like he had a couple of blips. But for the most part, I genuinely feel like he was kind of stuck in Elo hell, where he was always at the upper echelons for so long. And he had so many games versus people like Rafa, where it was just like, this is such a hard task forced on him, where he couldn't play the playstyle that he is known for. So he had to try and adapt, which just didn't work. But now he's back in a position where he's starting to once again rise. He's rising strong.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's maybe some instances versus Chain, I want to say, where I feel like it was like just after Rafa games.
Yeah.
And it just felt like he was in that blip period still.
But that's when it seemed like he changed his playstyle a bit.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He kind of went this a bit more defensive and tried to really contain himself. He put himself in a box.
Which you don't want to be in a box. Not a box with fridge magnets on, anyway.
Oh my god. But for whaz, I feel like, I mean, in a more general standpoint, not so much just this game, but the way that he's reacted to certain things, I feel like he relies too much on an opponent not hitting a lot. And I think he struggles a lot when he's going versus heavy aimers. And, you know, you don't have to necessarily be a heavy aimer. If you just happen to be having a great game and hitting your 60% rail and your 40+% LG, that's when I think whaz is starting to struggle, unless he's able to hit as hard as that. Wonderful rail shots that we're getting from him.
Oh, he's starting to get momentum at least.
True, but he also has to leave the miracles out because that's the only way it gets in. Oh my god, 2 health.
Wow, that is a miracle right there. A Guardian Angel watching over him for that one as he survives on 2 HP. It's 6-14. So 8 frags out from being able to equalize this one. 8 frags in the space of 2 minutes is really going to be a minute chance of ever occurring.
Oh, and that rocket already is just a time waster. And he's hopefully for himself got to realize he doesn't have any more rails left. See, that's 20+ seconds killed. He's got to go back and get himself some armor. He does find the rail box. Those are the good kind of boxes.
Those are.
Yeah. I still work with the double jump. Finding that LG in the end. He needs to have a peek through it. He needs to get curious.
He's trying to chase here. He has to. I don't really think it's going to help him much, though, because too much time has passed. He's left in really a bit of a stalemate. All nosfa's got to do is run and just waste time. It's pretty much already over. As in 60 seconds, he'll have to get so many frags. It's just not achievable. And he's not able to find them either. nosfa. Gold medal in hide and seek.
I need him to push forward, otherwise this is a waste of time.
Oh.
I feel like there's a lot of points earlier. I'd have to look at the VOD again to really kind of figure it out. But it seemed that whaz was a bit too happy to fight earlier on. You know, you don't need to turn up to every single major item when you're so far out of control and missing weapons and so on, as long as you're keeping timings. But kind of running into an opponent like nosfa when he's feeling hot, it's, yeah, sometimes you need to let them cool off before you get close. Nicely done, nosfa. Really, really good work.
He rarely does cool off, though. Like, he's pretty effective at actually being able to maintain, like, the same level of gameplay throughout a matchup for the most part. When he's on, he's on.
Well, to me, his Ranger, in my opinion, is his most exciting champion and where I think I've seen the best from him. And I've just seen a great game from him. Look at that. He is hitting 60% rail. He's hitting 45% LG. He's doing crap loads of damage. 1.7k more damage than whaz. His item control is on par, if not just a tiny bit better. I mean, that was deadly from nosfa. But can he do it again with other champions, other maps? We're going to have to see. This is where whaz has got a big opportunity to step into the series and say that he's a presence.
Yeah, which we know he can be at times. You know, he's able to show up, and when he does come in strong, he looks good. But nosfa on form is a whole nother kind of beast, because you've basically opened up this can of worms where he's playing with confidence, he's playing strong, he will just go into fights, even fights that, percentage-wise, he probably shouldn't win, but because he's got the confidence to back it up and he lands these just ridiculously filthy shots, he somehow makes it work for him. It's really quite odd to watch, because his defense is his offense, and he just constantly hits you with it.
Yeah, and we should have some few glamorous highlights over here, because we did have some really solid frags through the series. And we also had some hilarity too with some of the berserks that are going off. We had the other one a bit later on, where he's the longest range Superman that we've seen. Some full Soldier Boy work going to play. I'm actually ashamed of myself for saying that.
Hey, the pop culture references are starting to come out.
I'm trying to like sort of stay on par with you a little bit.
This is crazy. We're bridging the gap.
Bad.
Have you been doing lessons with 40 in the downtime?
I mean, I think he's given up, Tish. He's like, no, this guy's useless. Get him the hell away from me.
Oh, nightmare. What a nightmare. That's what we need one day. A little tri-cast of all three of us.
Oh, that'd be beautiful.
I'm sure we can arrange something.
Right, it's still the nosfa show goes on here. And it was his LG, you were talking about that earlier, how he just seems to be hitting so hard. This was the Superman in all its glory, and whaz just desperately chasing that one punch. Correctly and understanding nosfa's stack, but it's the fun part of the berserk, but it could be so hard to execute at a high level when someone's got really, really good LG. If you can make them panic a bit, then that can help you out a little.
Well, nosfa basically just doesn't miss right now with the LG. He is so precise, so pinpoint in every fight, and that's the best way you possibly can be. That's the opening tactical visor used from those. We delve straight into the action of map 2 as he's looking to try and find where his prey may be.
So we're getting into a matchup where whaz can really start to utilize things to his advantage. Doom isn't something he can do many special things with, because his movement won't stand out that much.
Yeah.
Now that he's on Strog, his highest qualities can really be made known. So I'm expecting definitely a much closer game, and if whaz is feeling good, it could be even better than that. nosfa kind of elegantly jumps in, then realizes he's made a horrible mistake, and that leads to a pretty straightforward kill for whaz.
The acrobatics not going to be paying off. However, the rails from whaz landing and hitting like a ton of bricks there.
He should have this mega health for him too. nosfa's nearby. Quick circle around onto the light. Can he make it to heavy in time? nosfa's there. But you know what, this is fine. Taking that rail damage is okay because he's removing the items away from nosfa. And he should be able to health up. This light will be up shortly, I believe.
Pika, being a nuisance maker, going to try and get the direct impact with it, but he won't be able to connect it. The light's still not coming up, so the timing's slightly off on respawn, but eventually it will come through. Grabs those hourglasses as well, so he's only got 20 seconds until Pika's back up. They're boboth fighting over the Mega, but whaz is getting complete control of it.
That rail from nosfa was ridiculous. He didn't have piercing sight up there. That was just pure kind of pre-fire.
Oh,
wow. Very, very quick adjustment from whaz through the teleport. I don't know, my god, by the way things are going, are we going to get a sort of repeat of Awoken, but inverted? We're not there yet, but whaz is definitely getting to showboat a little.
I wonder if this is one as well, where if whaz is able to have a huge early game and show up majorly in the opening half, if he can try and put it in a position where nosfa doesn't feel as comfortable to go for those constant wide swings that he was doing previously that were the difference maker.
Yeah, and maybe it could affect things for the map 3 if it really goes well. A couple of missed shots there. Pika gets removed. The mega health's been up the entire time, but whaz is looking to apply some pressure here. He's eventually going to get the rail. At this stage, it's almost too late to go to mega health because heavy will be up. And he really can't let nosfa get this, and he's going to. He's late for it. There's a chance for nosfa to get into this, but he's getting out-damaged still. Has armor, needs to heal up. He can actually fight. If he gets another 25 health bubble, he's not in horrendous shape. But I feel like whaz has made his life harder, his own life harder, by allowing that heavy to be picked up.
whaz trying to track him down. The Pika not really going to give him much of an advantage other than just the information. But nosfa backs off. That's the first time we've actually seen him pretty much get an uncontested heavy pickup. This could be the start of something new, potentially a whole new world, Zook.
I think piercing sight was just used, so he knows exactly where he is. There's no hiding at the moment. But nosfa's struggling to get really close. He misses the rail shot, and that's going to be the push. Perfect play from whaz, punishing the rail switch. And it looks like he wants to secure the heavy for himself. He's like, we're going to make a trade of items because I've got overstack health, and I really benefit from this heavy armor.
Stopwatch.
5 rockets, but a whole ton of rails. And one of them is going to land directly in the lips of nosfa, tagging him up and forcing him back. The OG comes out to play as he's zapping his way through. Both of them so close, it's another trade!
They were both insanely stacked in that fight. And they were just so even. They both made the switch at the same time. It'll be interesting to see who can grab an advantage now. There is heavy up. And whaz put himself in a bit of a tricky spot here. He might take some damage in return for picking up heavy. nosfa can't punish enough. Somehow whaz goes up. He's made a crazy move, and this is probably going to result in a kill. Mid-air onto the Pika, but you got 19 HP. It's just a matter of time, surely. Wow. He's still alive somehow. Oh, the rail! An unlikely weapon. He doesn't have rockets, though, so he's got to do something.
Now, whaz. Ooh, both of them with a drop down. A near miss from either rail that's going to be fired off. Slightly prematurely there from either side. Here comes the full confidence, though. whaz just walking up, looking to try and do some more damage against nosfa. There's 3 kills between them. We're just passing the 5-minute mark as well. And nosfa, he's starting to get himself into the flow of the game again as he's roaming around. 5 seconds till Mega comes up. This should be whaz's, but it's more of just a deny, really. Oh!
Big rockets. nosfa gets out of there for a moment. Again, an opportunity for whaz to persevere. but he's looking really to keep control of these small items, and nosfa's suddenly done a bucket load of damage. There's the vertical rocket. And whaz playing a little item heavy at the moment, which is weird. It's not exactly the style I expect from him. I'd like to see him go far more focused on nosfa as a target. That could very nearly have been another kill. Oh, he's just missing these! He needs to chase for this. His movement's great. Visor moves so fast now. I'm gonna try and rendezvous elsewhere. Well, that's some amazing rocket work from whaz.
nosfa's low. The light armor coming in clutch there as he picks it up. It gives him the extra sustain he needed in the firefight, as he will win that one out. 4-3. 1 kill is what is bridging the gap between them both. They're going to try and fight over the Mega here, the feud between them. nosfa's going to have to concede. It didn't want to risk anything there. But he should be able to grab himself the heavy. 5 seconds till it's up. It looks to be uncontested, but here he comes. whaz, as he lights up the skies, roaming in, getting him low. The rail was so close to connection, but it doesn't hit.
Well, it's not mattering too much now. whaz had stack to tolerate the damage. And nosfa maybe being a little hopeful about getting that heavy armor. He was like, it's 2 seconds till the item. I don't see whaz anywhere, and he just bursts in, crouch sliding, doing everything he can. I think, if anything, that's what you have to expect from whaz, particularly with Strong. Control's getting really, really good for whaz. This is very difficult for nosfa to penetrate this lines of defense. whaz going to move in. Direct rocket off the wall. There's going to be one on the floor. Bish, bash, bosh. We are 6-3. And it's such a nice rotation. whaz can go straight in for the mega health. Downfall is that he's been railed. And that rail is actually the opening for the map for nosfa to make this comeback that he needs to make.
whaz, though, with just 94 HP. As his crutch.
Wow.
He needs the heavy. He gets it and the kill.
I can't believe he got the heavy, actually.
nosfa's going to be fuming.
Yeah, I mean, just the speed that you can get with Strog too, and those slight bends around the corner, it's a bit more of an awkward route to the heavy for nosfa. And whaz must have calculated that he could have done that. There was a fine margin between success and failure in that fight.
Yeah, the chance for error on that play was so high, but he made it look really, really effortless for himself, and it worked out just splendidly. Although, there is a minute left, but we're coming up to a point here where if nosfa could get a kill right now, it's still achievable. You could still go into an overtime. Oh, he actually does find the frag. It takes him down, at least putting this back into a free kill situation.
Oh, that was actually a really big rail. He needs to go for some more. He hits another. That's in the kind of time limit that we needed. 2 more.
It's doable.
Oh, this is so sick, actually. Going in for another rail. Unbelievable stuff from nosfa, playing so far for the major items, which whaz is convinced he's desperate for. And now with just 1 frag in 40 seconds, this is very, very doable.
We've got a game on our hands again here now. This is a whole different can of worms from what we initially had. Strog trying his hardest to get out of there. He gets nosfa incredibly low, 12 HP, but he stays alive. They're going to be straight back into the fight, though. Does he realize how close he is? He rips the ring out! Nozu!
Oh my god. This is such a devastating wound for whaz. He's got to somehow come back. He is waiting for the major items. He needs weapons. nosfa doesn't have much to work with, but he's barging in. whaz can actually do this. This is LG on point. It's there. We've got the reverse comeback. We're 7 for 7. We're in sudden death.
Dude, it all comes down to this. 1 frag will now close down the game. whaz looking to close it out here and walk away as the victor. nosfa backs off. He doesn't want to throw it all away on 1 full committed hopes and dreams based play. He instead slows the game down. That's the heavy spawn coming through. This is where he can try and change the tide.
This is really, really scary though for whaz, because he's got so few resources. He has to play a slow game. nosfa is actually on the edge of being totally shook then, because he shouldn't have been at the mega health. The one place that whaz would have a look at is the upcoming next major item. And that was that. So whaz playing it softly, slowly. It's like, please don't see me. Please don't have just used piercing sight and know exactly where I am. He really needs to hear that ability being used. Woo! That was a shot right there. Does nullify actually a decent amount of... Oh my god, what is whaz doing to me?
Oh, he's wilding out. He's going crazy here. Mega's about to come up in 1 second. If he is going to risk it, he could try and go in for the full commit, which he will. Dives across, grabs Mega. A minute into sudden death here. And it all teeters on who will get the next frag. whaz down to 38 HP as he rocket jumps across with that beam barely missing him. The railgun whizzing by. It would have been a kill. Instead, it's a near miss. A nosfa. All the cards are in his deck. He is the one that can close this game down now if he wants to. whaz rotates over, but there is not going to be a heavy for still 18 more seconds.
No light. There's nothing. There's literally... Oh, he's going to run right into him. He can't cross here. This is going to be whaz going down 11 health. The nosfa doesn't commit to it. nosfa... I don't think nosfa knows how weak he is. This health, I mean, he's picking up 3 health bubbles and he's still in dire straits.
It's just going to be the split of the 2 pickups, though. whaz is going to get Mega. At this point, it should be his, but does he not want it? He's backing off. He goes into the fight. Instead, he's going to leave himself so susceptible to the attack. nosfa gets the kill off the back of a ring out to push us into a sudden death. nosfa eventually shuts it down, Zoo. What on earth?
What a comeback that nosfa made to get. Was that a 4-frag comeback?
Yeah.
In like 2 minutes or something?
It was, yeah, I think we had like 70 seconds. that was where he made his comeback.
That was wild. He made some really outrageous plays. I love how he was leaving up major items. He does things which is a part of Quake Duel that an enormous amount of people are incredibly uncomfortable doing. Because one thing you're taught from basically the get-go in Duel is you need to be timing your major items. And when people interpret that information, they understand, I time the major items so that I can take the major items. And all you think about is taking major items. nosfa's playing with 100 health, making a play that he knows if it messes up, he's going to give full control to whaz. But if the read works out, he can get an enormous punish. That is the definition of high risk, high reward. Not in terms of a fight playing out, but just as a read in itself.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was extraordinarily good from nosfa. And I respect everything that whaz did in this game. And at the end, in overtime, you've got nothing to work with. I think the only way he could have done it a bit better is trying to be a bit mobile. But then how do you feel comfortable being mobile when you don't know necessarily where your opponent is? It's such a difficult instance to play in where you're losing all other items on the map.
It is just wild. But the fact we even got to that scenario where whaz looked so commanding, and as you can see here, even up to 9 minutes, it was a 6-3 scoreline. Then all of a sudden, nosfa starts chipping away, starts doing more and more.
That was the bit there when he got those rails off. That was the big brick energy play.
It's crazy. It's so crazy, especially here as well with the fight over the Mega for him to actually push it back into a sudden death.
nosfa shouldn't have been there, to be fair. I really think he could have made his life a lot easier by continuing to move around or finding another place to sort of camp out at the end.
Just run with like 5 seconds left.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, if whaz comes through on LG, where does he go?
Yeah.
He needs to be in... He was in an area where he had an escape, but he had to move quite a bit to get to that escape. So he needed to find a place where he could stand and sort of maybe hide around the corner. Maybe at like the rocket spawn. Maybe, there's a bunch of options. Either way, he made the huge plays. He made the comeback. Yeah. He's 2-0 up now, and he's looking for 8 points.
Which, that's the dream right there. And, I mean, the way he played it, obviously, to bring it back as well, it's such a hard aspect to do. With a time limit that much, just crunching down on you, literally, like 40 seconds or something to be able to make the last few clutch level plays that he needed versus whaz. But he did it, took it into sudden death, won it out. Now we go into him winning the series already, but looking to get the extra 8 points, which if he can take here in week 9, Zoo, that would be sick for him.
Absolutely. And he's going up versus a whaz. He's probably under slight emotional trauma at the moment because losing a game like that on Molten, it never resonates well with any player. And people who are able to make comebacks and strong performances and get map wins after losing games like that, those are sort of the most headstrong players that you have in any community.
Well, I favoured the idea of nosfa here on this. I felt like the grapple would play into his game style and it would work out well for him. He has been showing that ridiculously aggressive level of Quake, which we've come to know and love, so I feel like it is going to aid him. But let's see, already a minute has passed. There hasn't been a frag just yet, but that rail! Oh, how has he not broke his wrist?
Yeah, that was fantastic. I want to hype up whaz still with the Anarchy. Oh, that was a really cool swing, actually. I really want to hype up whaz, though, because I think he's fantastic with Anarchy movement. I think he's able to apply it really well to Quake Champions Duel. And can he piece it all together? He's going to do it again. Oh, that doesn't seem like an easy jump, actually. You've got to put time on a server to get these swings going. Two great rails from whaz, trying to balance out those stacks a little, and maybe give himself a little more freedom on the map to do as he pleases.
Your friendly neighborhood nosfa.
You've got to be so careful with Athena because she can appear places so quickly. whaz's dodge has actually been remarkably good, but you've possibly got a rail. Never mind, you just got the LG, and that'll be frag one.
That already gives you a glimpse of why I feel like the grapple is going to be such a good piece of kit for him in terms of the movement to actually be able to catch up and chase down whaz, especially with him having the Anarchy. It's already worked out really nicely. A kill otherwise he might not have got to open it up. He's going to be able to grab those hourglasses to replenish his grapples as well, try and get himself closer to having a few in reserve. The rocket's going down. Stop whaz here as he's looking to try and fight for control of the heavy. It's a full commit, and he actually will get the frag off with a lightning gun.
The rail switch was impatient. He shouldn't have been going with that weapon. Off finds the rocket at the top. Mega does get taken, but his rockets are looking good. Oh, the rail shot there from whaz. What was that? What a flick as that hook was going off. He's now finding himself in the lead, but with 1 HP remaining. If he lands another rail, then he gets a kill, but I don't think they're going to seeing each other's line of sight for a second.
Three minutes have passed here. whaz using the injection to try and replenish himself as he will steal away the Mega. Fighting over by the pillars. It's going to be an awkward fight as it's so claustrophobic. Shooting off those warning rails. The LG starting to spam across as well to do a little bit of damage to chip away at nosfa. whaz does have the lead. But can he add to this suit?
I think he wants to get himself that armor first. He's got the injection, which he can kind of pre-use into a fight. Spots him, interrupts the hook with a good rail. Very important that he does it. Helps secure a nice mega health. Has used the injection very recently just to keep himself safe from any rails, but can kind of deny some hourglasses. And I personally think it's quite important to use your ability fairly often versus an Athena and make sure you can't just keep getting hooks over and over again. If you can minimize the amount of charges she has, it can do you wonders.
whaz backing off, playing behind the pillar, taking the fights that favor him. He's landing so many rails. Gets the cheeky injection off as well to actually stay alive into this one. He only has one single rail left to play with. Fires it off.
I want to see him make a play for the heavy armor. He's setting up quite early for it now, and actually that tribot's going to allow him to get onto it. With this heavy, he's probably going to look at rocket jumping and getting himself some more heavy rail ammunition. But not if there's too much damage from nosfa. There's a lot going on. The rocket's almost following up with the mid-air. It has to be a bit more careful. Nice attack from nosfa at the end, making sure that whaz isn't getting too comfortable with the items he's picking up.
Ooh, nosfa
Very nice.
Swings into his own demise there.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was the wrong read to make, and when you've got that hook latched on, and it doesn't really matter if you cancel it or not, you're going to be hurting at that stage. Again, these rails that we're getting. He's got that injection if he needs it, but Mega is up soon, so he's probably going to look to take it. And very surprised he didn't use the injection faster. In a dangerous spot there. Unbelievable rails we're getting from whaz.
nosfa. Wow, okay. Actually, someone stays alive. Even had the confidence to re-peek it. He's got like 5 HP and he's still swinging.
He's expecting whaz to make his way up to the top angle, so there's like these half fake outs going through, so it's really hard to tell what exactly is going to happen. For either players, the thing is, it's nosfa who's backed up against the wall in that area.
Yeah. So confident from him, though. Actually going for those peaks and playing it that commandingly. It is only a 2-kill difference between them. Ooh, an awkward miss from whaz as he'll just shoot up the scenery rather than nosfa.
It's the funny kind of games that you get from two light champions. Hold on a second. Got LG on nosfa. Bit of a world of trouble here. That's going to be one more for whaz. We'll have that heavy afterwards. It's just amusing actually how slow the games end up being between the most mobile champions, because you've got fragile stacks and you're both totally aware of how fast you guys can be around the map. So it presents like a weird oxymoron of a game style. This fight could go the way of nosfa, who finally gets the LG out. Some crazy antics going around the pillars, and kind of started off by whaz, who would regret making that move.
Well, the rail not going to connect. 2 frags is what is keeping them apart right now, at arm's length of each other. nosfa stealing away the heavy for what feels like the first time in forever at this point. Has a clear, open line of sight the whole way across over by the pillars. Will land the tag on towards whaz and now starts to chase him. Goes back for the mega though to bolster and give himself more health to play with, just waiting, hoping that whaz will make the first mistake. Drops down into him, good use of the grapple. The movement was sick, but is he going to be able to end the life of whaz? Stop this man breathing, tagging him up, but no finisher! whaz gets the rails out!
What was that angle above the little pillar? That was so hard to spot him out. 2 rails in a row for whaz. He's going to try and rendezvous down at the bottom now of that LG beam coming out. nosfa knows he's got to escape elsewhere. whaz's rails this map have been on another level, actually. This has been remarkably good.
Oof.
I can't count out nosfa, though, until, you know, we're 5 seconds away from the game time, right? Because the comebacks that he's been making have also been extraordinary. But with the injection, whaz is actually looking in a really good spot. I'd like to see him chase pretty hard. This is where I want to see the real Razzle Dazzle. But now, more than ever, his rails need to be hitting.
I mean, he's hitting them. He's out of ammunition, though. So instead, he's going to have to switch out to something a little bit different. A different flavor of the month, as he has the rocket launcher in hand, firing out shots, hoping to try and connect with a rocket. nosfa, if he's going to come into the game, although it's not that much of a kill lead, it's still 3 frags with around 1 minute and 20 seconds left. So he needs to open this one up now. He's getting the tags off. That's the injection going out from whaz. And whaz, he gets the kill. He wants to put this one down.
He wants some points, man. He's been starved of them. Eventually twist and turn around to find nosfa again. Rockets should eventually find their way there. Looking for the pummel. I don't know about that, buddy. Oh, you know that's actually really dangerous to do, given what we've been seeing recently? There's a heavy. I mean, the chances again are really slim, but you just don't give those chances to people. He's going to find it again! There's going to be another kill! This is what we don't need to happen. This is probably going to be the spawn also. Oh, no, it's not. I think he's just appeared somewhere. He's found him. He's got a hook in a second.
He's getting away, though. He's being able to juke him. This is the most important factor. Unless somehow right now he gets the kill, then it would be achievable. But nosfa losing so much HP. whaz, he has just sealed his fate there and denied nosfa being able to pick up a sudden death. Instead, it will be a 2-1 split. nosfa will walk away with a series win. But, of course, whaz will be able to deny the mass amount of points.
Yeah, you too, whaz, dude. Your rails have been fantastic. nosfa did have certainly a game beforehand with some incredible rails over on Awoken. But what a series, actually. We had a comfortable win for nosfa into a super dramatic Molten, one of the most dramatic maps of the day, into a piece of art that we got.
Oh, yeah. like map 1 feels like it was just an eon ago at this point, and it genuinely looked like it was a different series because it was just the nosfa show, like clean cut straight through, right? He was just ridiculous. I don't even know how we could describe what he did. Whereas going into map 2, probably the closest game we've had in quite some time, like just ludicrous.
Oh, that was fun. That was one for the history books there. That's something that you need to look back on later. If you want to feel warm inside from watching good Quake, that's the kind of magic that you need.
Yeah. And then map 3, really the closer of the chapter.
That was so sick, by the way.
Where whaz started to come back into his own.
And you know, I was saying before that Spawn to win a map after taking that beatdown on Molten, like from that comeback, you need to be really headstrong. And I think whaz demonstrated that here. A very impressive map 3 win and some well-deserved points, but he'd only be thinking now, what could have been? It could have been 4. Definitely could have been 4.
No, yeah, it could have been.
Actually sick there on top of that. Some crazy kills. And I think this back off here into the sort of fadeaway rocket, just it's not a super hard read, but he makes it look somehow, I don't know, really artsy.
He does. He puts a lot of pizzazz and spice into the kills that he got. Like, in terms of the fabulous factor, it was up there.
Yes.
Which, that's a pretty good accolade to have.
It's what he's best known for, I'd say.
Exactly. The Wazzle Dazzle.
Exactly.
It was coming through. He was shining as definitely a beacon into that series. But nosfa does walk away with the series win with a 2-1 split in the end there, so he is definitely going to be happy with the result.
I hope so.
You'd imagine so. It looked good.
whaz is, I feel like, a different beast at the moment. He's been... I'd say in terms of from where he's come from as a player this year into where he is now, he's like one of the most improved, I'd say, in QPL. I think he's been playing exceptionally well. And I wonder if he can maybe surprise people at Luca with some really top results. He's definitely someone that players shouldn't be underestimating. I know that the EU-CIS players on average tend to have pretty big ego. So I hope that they really take whaz super seriously if they happen to encounter him at LAN.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to, because his results have just been showing that he's a whole different demon on the server now than what we saw at the start of Quake Pro League. Way back to the form we kind of hyped up and hoped to see. But that is the closer of our third game of the night. We have one more to come with, of course, the big name in Quake that you all love. Rafa will be facing off versus the Canadian powerhouse in Chain.
That's right. Should be a good one.
It should be. So we'll come back with that after the break.